Hey everybody, and welcome to Investment Station. This channel is all about investing assets, and hopefully I'm gonna package all this up in a very funny and entertaining way. The main aim of this channel is basically to provide you value in order for you to go and make investments and make the right decisions. Obviously nothing that you see is financial advice. It's all for entertainment and educational purposes only. So today is an awesome episode because I did a bit of research about Bitcoin, I would say maybe a lot of research about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrency in general, and I just wanted to list a few points that I came across, and these are very, very important. So I highly recommend you stay through this whole video so you can sort of understand the crypto space and where it is going. Now, for those who are not familiar with the GDP, is basically measure that used to basically understand our economy and how it's growing and progressing. And 6 to 8% of the GDP is actually taken away by fees by the bank. So at the moment we have this financial system, as you all know, when you take credit cards or take loans for your mortgage, the banks take a huge fee out of it, and the whole system is very cluggy. So it takes a lot of days to settle transactions. Maybe PayPal and stuff like that make it look like it's really fast and the transaction occurs really quickly, but at the back end of what's happening, these systems actually take a lot of time. They consume a lot of energy and resources, and this is where the crypto space comes in and basically tries to reduce the amount of fees that we are paying for all these financial services, and also make it quickly, make it more quicker, and gives the control to us. So makes it decentralized, so no one can actually manipulate our accounts or anything like that. If you don't know, if the government decides to track you or to arrest you, something like that, they can actually freeze all your accounts, and you lose all your money or you lose all your fundings. Whereas with crypto space, that's the whole, one of the reasons why crypto space is created, so no one can do that. So your money is your own money, and the fees that are taken for loans and stuff like that can be a lot reduced significantly, and also the speed. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just what's happening recently. Obviously we had a huge run with Bitcoin and went up parabolic, and we obviously need to have some sort of a correction. Okay, that's why it went down 40 almost to 50% in the last few months. Same thing with the S&P 500, the stock market in America. It's also had a huge parabolic run, and it's still up there high. So from my perception and from what I understand, everything that goes up from history, from whatever you want to look at, always has a correction, always has a downturn. So because cryptocurrency is also a risk asset, like people invest now, the big investors and whoever invests in crypto looks at it as a high risk asset, because it's still not legislated in many countries. There's still some uncertainties with the space. So whenever there's a stock market crash, usually Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies will follow. Okay, so where am I going with this? First of all, I wanted to talk about why cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin have so much potential, and second of all, where it's heading in the near future. So because we are heading for some sort of a market crash or market correction, everybody's talking about it, then Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will follow suit. But the next thing that happens will be a lot more interesting, because the things that I just talked about and all the potential that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has, I believe that in the next few months, if we do have a stock market correction and Bitcoin follows that correction or goes down a little bit more, then it will be a huge opportunity to buy into this space and put some money into this investment asset. Okay, so recently, I just want to talk about the correction that happened with Bitcoin. It was largely driven because of Elon Musk and China banning it for the 6th or 8th time, saying that Bitcoin is not allowed in China and stuff like that. What really happened, why there was a huge correction is because a lot of those miners in China, all those people that are mining, and everybody knows that China is a big miner of crypto, had to sell their Bitcoin, which drove the price down. They needed to sell Bitcoin in order to get out of China and move a lot of their mining industry into another country. So that could be one case scenario for why Bitcoin crashed. And also, the memes that happened with Elon Musk and all that, that also probably drove the price down when he said that, we accept Bitcoin, and then he said, we don't accept Bitcoin. Now, another thing that might have made the price crash is we had a huge run. We had a huge parabolic ascend, and just like every market and everything that happens in history, we have a correction. It's normal, okay? And when there's a correction and it goes down, that's usually the time to start buying a little bit of it. For all the people that invested in Bitcoin up at the top, and then it crashed 40%, and they're sort of losing their mind, like, shit, I lost 40%, maybe I should sell it, I might go to zero. The most important thing with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is to understand it's a new space, it's still growing, and it has a lot of potential. This is sort of the industry that it has the potential to exchange the whole financial system that we have. That is huge. That is much more than the digital camera when it replaced Kodak. So a lot of potential, obviously a lot of risk as well, but huge potential. Now, we saw a lot of investors, big investors like, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, big hedge funds going into, saying that they're going to buy Bitcoin and they're going to offer it to their investors. Now, obviously, if they're jumping into this space, that means that all their lawyers and all the power is also going to back up Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So it's going to be a lot harder to legislate it, and for the government and whoever else who is against this space to step in. The more people that adopt it, build on top of this industry, the more power it has. So maybe in 2017 we didn't have much power because a lot of people were still speculative about this industry, but now we actually have big investors and big institutional companies going into this. So I don't really think there's a lot of risk anymore as much as we used to. Okay, now it's important that all those investors that are jumping into Bitcoin have a long-term perception of it. So they think in terms of 5, 10, 20, 30 years. They don't think about the what happened last week and the week before that. So for them, if the Bitcoin goes down or up, it's an opportunity to go when it goes down, obviously. So they can buy more of it. So when people think, they're jumping in, it's going to go up. No, they invest in intervals. They're smart. They know that Bitcoin might crash the next day, the next month, or the next year. So, they put a little bit of money and slowly they invest in it. So for people that are more like retail investors, like people like us, where they freak out, they sell at the bottom, they buy at the top, they don't know what they're doing. Banks are very methodical. They just have a methodology of how they invest in Bitcoin, and that's why the price doesn't go up all of a sudden because Morgan Stanley said they're going to start investing in Bitcoin. They're going to buy it slowly and over a long period of time. So let's wrap it up. Basically, when you have a disruptive industry, like a disruptive technology that's going to disrupt the financial industry, it goes like this. Basically, all the financial banks and stuff like that, you're in business, and then boom, you're not, because of the new companies and technology that comes in. I believe that this is exactly what's going to happen with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. It's basically going to enable a lot more people around the world, people that don't have banks, people that don't have all the facilities we have in the Western world, to have access to it. And also, the speed that we talked about, the availability, the transparency, the decentralization, all these technologies are going to just mind blow all the financial. They're just going to blow all the financial institutions out of whack, and all the banks as well. So maybe this is going to be one of the biggest changes we had in the last few hundred years, where there's where the financial institution like banks are being replaced by technologies and private sector companies. And that's all I have for today. I hope I gave you a bit of an insight into it. And obviously, for the main question, should I invest in crypto? I wouldn't say what I'm doing with my money. I just invest in intervals. I have maybe a year now where I have money and I put money every month. I don't invest all of a sudden when it drops. I sort of try to spread my investment, and this is what I do. Now I believe it's a good time to buy, and also in the next few months if Bitcoin is going to keep crashing, because if you think about it from a long perspective, 3 to 5 years, you will have Bitcoin reaching to 250k, to 1 million, to 2 million and above. This is not a promise, but you know, whatever coin or whatever project in the crypto space that, you know, gets adopted really quickly, like Ethereum or something like that, they'll have the biggest potential to grow in the future. And that's about it. I hope you liked the video. I hope I gave you some value and a sort of understanding of my perspective of where cryptocurrency is going. If you liked the video and I gave you some sort of value, please like it. Subscribe if you want more about investments, about assets, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching until the end of the video, and I'll catch you next time.